Welcome to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina, and I have a horror story to tell you guys of something that just happened. I know this is
Welcome to October.
Yeah.
welcome to
Halloween.
spooky season. This is by far probably the most scared I've ever been. So I have to drive down to LA and work in the office in LA on Thursdays. I'm driving back. I'm tired. These are like 14-hour days for me because it's like a 2.5-hour drive during the week with rush hour traffic and shit. So
that's horrifying, Christina. I can't believe that's scary enough. Horror story over.
That is the horror story, actually.
That's a Los Angeles horror story, truly. Yeah, it is.
Yes. So, I'm in my like business cash where I get home, I'm like unloading my stuff, I'm bitching about my day or, whatever. And I'm finally relaxed. I'm in comfy clothes. I'm on the couch. I'm sitting on the sectional. I've got my couch blanket on because it's getting kind of chilly in here. Fall is coming. I have the
Love a couch blanket
all surrounding. And a habit that I've been doing lately is twisting my rings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice anything?
Whoa.
missing?
Whoa. Where's your diamond? No.
So I literally was like, oh my God, I have lost my engagement ring, which has my wedding ring is a size smaller than my engagement ring. So it actually fits, but it's also, I've lost a lot of weight recently. And so my engagement ring has been loose. And the day before I had told Eric, I got to take this off and put it away until I can get it resized because it's going to fall off and I'm going to lose it. So I turned to Eric and I'm like, I lost my ring. And he's like, what? And I just
Come again?
Holy shit.
I lost my engagement ring. Now,
holy shit.
One shining good part of the story is that I remembered I had been twirling it in the car on the way home. So I'm like, I know I can narrow it down. It's not somewhere in the fucking ether.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
From the car into this household space, somewhere here is the ring that you selected, picked out, put on a payment plan, and fucking just paid off. So yeah, let's find it. We spent hours. I'm retracing every step. We're picking up singular pieces of mulch outside
and
to see.
Listen, not the point, but also the last thing you want to do whenever you just want to fucking chill. Like you've had a hard, long day, and like I would be crying from that alone. That like you have the panic of not being able to find your ring, but then it's also just like, I just want to rest.
Yes.
Like, and I have to like find this ring. I'm going to be out here like, because you have to be out there till you find it.
That's
I mean, you can't like,
where you're not going to find
give
it,
up.
Find it.
So yeah.
We tore my car apart. We're like parsing through the backyard, lifting up all the outdoor couch cushions, looking and inside couch cushions, which then I'm like, well, now I have to clean. Like, I'm like, we need to get the vacuum out. Like there's too much detritus in the couch. Finally, I remembered. I was like, oh, okay, I did that weird, I'm going to wear this shirt, but I'm just going to take the bra off. And I was like, oh my God, I opened the bra drawer. There it is. Right on top of my bra. I was like, hours later.
Your bra was doing you a solid. Your bra was like, I got you, but I'll hold on to this.
I'll hold on
to it. Don't worry.
No. So, moral of the story, especially in this crazy eclipse season, if you say like, oh, I feel like I have to do this thing because this will happen, it will fucking happen. Listen to your fucking gut, because that was how I brought in like spooky season. I was like, this is the most terrified I've ever been, because I don't want him to think that I don't love it or whatever, that I'm just careless with something.
No, he would have to know that it was like an actual accident. Listen, I've had rings. I had the exact same thing. It wasn't an engagement ring or anything like that, but like I had a ring that I loved, that I wore for a decade, literally every single day. It was a turquoise ring that I bought in New Mexico. I loved that thing. And same thing, I lost a considerable amount of weight and it just fell off. And I never found it. I never found it. Like, it just like, that can happen.
Well,
you know?
Yeah. Too much. Oh, you're not.
Where's yours?
I've been not wearing mine because my diamond is loose. And I was like, I will fucking freak out.
Right, if the diamond falls out.
If the diamond falls out. And I'm like,
better just to put it away till it's fixed.
Honestly, that's it's like your words have spoken into my ether. And I haven't been wearing my ring for over a month now, because when we moved here, I was like, this fucking diamond is going to fall out and I can't. So I just put it aside. Not many people wear wedding rings here anyway. So it's not like one of those big cultural things that you're like, oh, people get real weirded out by you not wearing a wedding ring, even if you're married, because it's not as big of a deal here for sure. Like, a lot of Europeans don't wear rings.
This is an important thing, though. Like, the number of times I have thought to do something and then not done it and then regretted it.
Amen.
It is so hard for me to learn that lesson. Yes. I literally thought about this the other day because I was taking a bath and I had my AirPods in. And I had like a speaker that was like kind of nearby that I could turn on because I was listening to a podcast or something. And there was part of me that was just like, you don't need to turn the speaker on. You're not going to like lose your AirPods in the bathtub.
And then you did.
But I took them out for that reason, because I'm like, it takes you literally nothing to just do the thing that you already, because if you act like you're too sure about it, it's gonna happen. You're gonna lose it. And then you'll be thinking like, if I could just rewind 5 seconds, and tell my past self to just like do this thing. Just do it. Just do it. Yep. Just listen to yourself. Just follow your intuition.
Yeah.
Be smart. Be smart out there.
Be smart. Okay.
I have to talk. Speaking of spooky season, I have to talk to you guys about this, because I went to the Beetlejuice Afterlife experience here in Los Angeles yesterday.
Very cool. Yeah.
And it's, I'm sure they do this in other cities as well, but LA often has these like kind of fun little experience type things. It's like you go in and it kind of like is supposed
like in
to
Scotland.
be
like they did for
yes, like the Willy Wonka,
just like that.
Except
just
for
like
this one's legit. This one was legit, and it was supposed to be like the afterlife in Beetlejuice. So you walk in, there's the passport, there's the waiting room where you have to take a ticket. There's like all of that stuff. You get your passport stamped, and there's a bunch of actors, and they're in character the whole time, right?
Amazing.
And so we went into what was supposed to be like Beetlejuice's office, and Beetlejuice was in there talking to a couple, and like, we saw him talking to this couple, whatever. And then we went over into the diner area, me and my two friends, and we're just kicking it. We're actually having a conversation about bugs. Weirdly enough, we were talking about like, because I have a little bit of a moth situation in my house, and I've just been like going on safari every day to like try and get rid of these moths, right? And I had Googled, do moths feel pain?
Oh my God.
Which is like
the most Pisces thing you've ever seen.
100%. I was just like, oh no. They do, by the way. So they do. I know. But I Googled it because you can get traps that attract the moths with pheromones, like mating pheromones, but they're sticky traps. And I hate sticky traps because I don't like the idea of animals suffering. So what I'm doing is probably more humane. But anyway, so we're talking about this, and Beetlejuice like walks by, and then he like sits down, and he's trying to stay in character, like having a conversation with us. We're talking about bugs or whatever. Yeah. And then my friend is like, is this the weirdest conversation you've had today? And he's like, today, yeah, it is. And so we were like, okay, well, what's the weirdest conversation you've had since you started working here? And he kind of like dropped the character and was like, okay. And he's like gonna give us the tea, right?
Yeah.
So what he does, and it's kind of a callback to the Beetlejuice movie, is like his thing is that he does couples therapy. So that's what he was doing in the office when we were back there. He was sitting down with a couple doing couples therapy. And he's like, I did couples therapy a little while ago, but it was like a polycule. It was like 4 people.
That's the most LA thing ever.
Yes.
Yes. And he was like, except that one of the people was no longer a part of the polycule, like a part of the foursome, but wanted to be back into the foursome, was like, and then the guy who was, and she was part of the original couple. So there's a guy and I think it was 3 girls. And like the guy and this girl were like the original 2. And then the other 2 were brought in. And somehow this original girl got kicked out.
Banished.
Damn.
But she wanted back in. And the guy was like, yeah, I could see that. But Beetlejuice was like, but the other girl who was sitting there very clearly did not want this girl back in the group. Right?
In the queue.
And so I was like, I have so many questions. I want to know everything. Everything. I need to know all of the details. He did not have all of the details. However, it begged a question for me. And absolutely no judgment. Like, relationships look all different kinds of ways.
Sure.
Y'all do you.
Yeah.
However, if somebody could answer this question for me, how do breakups work?
In a polycule?
Like, how does that work? Do you have to vote? Is it like Survivor? Do you have to vote somebody off the island? Like, how does that work? How do you
well, sometimes
break up with just one person?
Well, so if everybody's like, fuck Susan, like, then it's easy. Then the polycule becomes like a triad or whatever. But I think most often what happens is one person is like, fuck Susan. The other person's like, I still like Susan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, how do you determine?
Then it just fractures off, I think.
Man.
Do you think so?
That's
like, I'm just like,
complicated.
how does that work? And like, in this situation, how did they decide if Susan was already kicked out, but she would like to give another, have another go at the relationship? Do you have a meeting? Is there like, do you, everybody has to get together and you got to like decide whether or not Susan gets to come back into the relationship? Like, how does it work?
Well, because I think if the guy still wants to mess with Susan, then he can't. Well, depending on the types of rules, because there's all different
I don't know
you gotta
how
the rules of the relationship. Yeah,
exactly. I don't know how it's set up. He made it sound like, because I know there are poly relationships where people have their individual relationships outside,
right,
right, and they're not all together necessarily. Mm-hmm. He made it sound like all 4 of them are in a relationship together, like it is like a group.
Then I think you gotta.
And so, like, is he allowed to go fuck around with Susan, or is that like a group? Is that like not okay? I don't know, because every relationship functions differently. But if that is how it functions, how do breakups work? How does bringing someone new in work?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Imagine that date: 3 people on one side of the booth, and then you. Mm-hmm. So
it feels like an interview.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like a job interview. You got it. It's so stressful to me. I'm like, you have to impress.
I think
3
one
people.
person. I think the most natural thing is that one person meets somebody, they're attracted to that person, they maybe start to establish somewhat of a relationship, and then they introduce. Maybe, I don't know if that person's interested.
Right, that makes sense to me as well. The breakup is the thing that seems like it would be the messier thing, because it's just like you would all, if that's how your relationship is set up, you would all have to agree to break up with this person. And people are different. I feel like it would be hard to get everyone, especially if you're all in a relationship.
Yeah.
To get everyone on the same page.
I am a lazy person.
Exactly.
I agree. That's exactly what I thought.
It is.
I could not handle
hard enough job to make a relationship with one person happy.
Yeah.
I think that if you are able to maintain a functioning, healthy, committed polycule with multiple people, why are you not running a Fortune 500 company?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because your fucking communication and your social skills and your energy must be off the chart. Like, these are the people that need to be running our country, honestly.
It's true. I also it is also funny to me that Susan is no longer in the relationship, but she did go with them to the afterlife experience to get relationship advice from Beetlejuice.
That feels Feels difficult.
It feels hard. And then
complicated.
Breakups are hard enough when one person is like, I don't want to do this anymore. 3 people are like...
The rejection, I would never recover. I would never recover.
Feels like a lot.
And you're the original one. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I would feel sometimes so rejected.
Too. Are you hanging on because you were one of the original? You know what I'm saying? Like you're the original one. Thing. So you feel like there's like... I don't know. To me, I'm like, let's sit down. Let's have this therapy talk here.
I know. Do you guys watch that couples therapy show?
No.
Do you know about it? Have you seen TikTok clips from it?
I have seen TikTok clips from it, yes. And I saw the preview for it on Max like years ago because the show's been on for a little while. Yeah. But I've never watched it. I feel like it's going to give me anxiety. Like it's like one of those where I'm like, I feel like this is going to stress me out.
Whenever I see the clips of it, I'm just like, it gives me so much respect for people that can handle that profession, because like the way that she's able to navigate those conversations, I mean, is so real.
And keep it cool.
Yeah, exactly. Where sometimes I'd be like, dude, you're being a total fucking narcissist right now. Like, calm down. But yeah, no, that's what it makes me think of, like that whole couples therapy. She does do I think a couple relationships that are, you know, non-traditional or non-monogamous, and I just think you're playing a relationship is already at an expert level. You're like playing it on God mode at that point.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's like 4D chess at that point. Yeah, and again, if it works for you, it works for you. I think we have to lean into like non-traditional relationships, non-traditional families, and all of that stuff. Like there is no one size for anybody. And if it works for you, it works for you. I know it wouldn't work for me because I would get so stressed out. Yeah. I'd get so tired.
Bitch, I ain't got time for this shit.
I'd always be like, you know, there's too many people whose like feelings and needs you have to like keep into account at all times. I think I would be very, very stressed out by that. But that's just me. And you know, I really wish I had Susan's Instagram handle so I could see what was going on over there. Yeah. I wish Beetlejuice had gotten more information for me.
I wish her name was really Susan, because this will feel poignant if somebody's listening. They're like, how the fuck did this bitch know?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know who we should fucking marry kill based on that.
I have an idea.
All right. Cassie's got an idea.
I think that we pick celebrity couples. We'd want to be a third in their tripod.
I know who I would pick.
Okay.
I'm going to pick... I know. I'm going to pick Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
nice. I want to be a third in there. Although, you know, I do feel like he loves her so much. I'm going to get Susaned. I'm going to get Susaned, aren't I? Oh, they're going to kick me out of that relationship. Yeah. I feel like maybe I need to rethink this. But I do think that they're so cute. And she just posted a TikTok that I think it was her. She posted a TikTok with the Paramore song Still Into You. And it was like a slideshow from like the time they were married all the way till now. And I'm just like, that is
so cute.
So cute.
Do you know they lost like all their money in the Madoff Ponzi scheme?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've been on a roller coaster. They literally lost like all of it.
Wow.
And they're still together, you know?
Wow.
I'm just hearing Shania Twain's Still the One, just, you know, playing in my head right now.
I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
It's not a newer couple, but they've been together for a while. And I got to say, I'm rooting for them. Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Okay. Yeah, they've been together for a while, though. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a while, I think.
Yeah. I think that I'm going to do Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem.
I love that. I
am not hot enough to be in that group, but I want to know about it.
You know, I'm actually going to change mine because I do feel like, first of all, we've talked about Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick on the podcast before. Mm-hmm. And secondly, I do feel like I'm going to get kicked out of that relationship. I am going to pick a different relationship, a younger, newer relationship, but one that I like the looks of, even though, once again, I'm not hot enough to be in that trifecta. I'm going to go with Robert Pattinson and Suki Waterhouse.
Ooh.
Oh.
I like them together, and they seem really sweet.
Robert Pattinson. Why was I thinking Harry Potter?
Oh, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
He's married, and I think he's been married for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't think they're married, but they've been together for a really long time.
Way,
and they're so fucking cute. And I love the girl he's married to, and I cannot think of her name. Okay.
Yeah, adorable. Okay, so we've got Suki and Robert, we've got Javier and Penelope, and we've got Zendaya and Tom.
Dude, this one is really difficult because if you're talking about the hotness levels, like, and I'm
the hotness levels through the roof on all three. Yes. I feel like, yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do. I do.
Okay.
I'm marrying Javier and Penelope.
Yeah.
I want tapas. I want just
red
warm
wine.
Spanish
Sangria.
nights. You know,
the
seduction factor there.
Oh,
the accents alone in that relationship.
Yeah.
Yes. So marriage, long term. Would love to be the third. Have a nice little guest bedroom set up.
Yes,
be great. And then
guest bedroom, girl. You're in the marriage. You stay in the main bedroom.
No, I feel like they would understand exactly. I get my own bedroom in this polycule. Them's the rules.
I don't want it. Make me the meat in that sandwich. We're getting one big California king. Okay.
Make it round, bitch.
Oh my God. And then I'm gonna, dude. How do you choose in this situation?
This is hard. It's really hard. For me, this is fuck, marry, friend, right? Like,
yeah, obviously.
Yes, yeah, like
I'm gonna fuck Robert and Suki. I think.
Yes, that's hot.
Yeah. I think there's more meat, like, you know, just more. Yeah. There's. They're also like older. They've been around the block a little bit more experience, and I think that's sexy. That's just,
I agree.
Yeah, Tom is almost too
boyish.
He's so sweet, and then also I think their relationship is very sweet.
Unique.
And I feel like I'm gonna get left out of that threesome. I feel like they're gonna. We're gonna start out it's gonna be like that scene in Challengers where like we all start out together but we don't end together. You know? Like but you know what, I'd be fine with that too. I would be Zendaya in that scene where I'm just like, I'll just watch it happen. This is good enough for me. Yeah. Like if I was there, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here, to be honest.
Just watch. This is fine.
But I actually, I think I am going to do the same thing as Christina. I was tempted to marry Robert and Suki because I just feel like I would feel like I was sitting at the cool kids table. Like if they welcomed me into their polycule, I would feel like, you know, I've made it. But when I think about long-term marriage situation, I do feel like it's going to be so comfortable with Javier and Penelope. Like that is going to be a very, very comfy life. They both still work. They're both still gorgeous and hot and sexy, but they're not out there quite as much, you know? So it's like, we'll go to the occasional red carpet. We'll get dressed up. We'll do the fun stuff. But the rest of the time, we're just eating at really nice restaurants.
That's right.
We're going on like really great vacations. We're sleeping on really good sheets.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that it feels like a nice, comfortable life. I am going to fuck Suki and Robert because he's a bit of a weirdo.
Yes.
And she's super fucking hot. And I know that I believe in my soul that they do some kinky stuff, and I'm into it. I'm very into it. I feel like they play maybe like some 70s music during, and you know, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be like lighting.
No, like a band you've never heard of. They'll be like, they like have records. And it's like, you put on this Brudos band, and you're like, I've never heard of this before.
Yeah. Oh my God. I do feel like also if one of these couples is like gonna sit down and like talk about weird shit with you, it's gonna be them. It's like, we're gonna talk about aliens. We're gonna talk about like,
oh my God, totally.
You know, like it's, and I am kind of into it. Like, I would love to have a date. I'd like to go on a date with them that ends in really great sex. So that's how I feel about that. And then I want to friend Zendaya and Tom, like, bad. I want them to be my friends.
Yeah.
Right now.
It'd be so fun.
And you know what? I bet Tom cooks, and I bet you Tom is the kind of boyfriend, like your friend's boyfriend, who sits down with you and is like, what's going on? And like gives you so good advice.
Yeah.
You know, like he's the your friend's boyfriend who like actually gives, you really like, and gives really good advice to you.
Yep.
Yeah. And I want that.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of your friend Tom, well, our editor Thomas.
Yeah, Tom's girlfriend. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom and Sarah.
Sarah, exactly. I am doing the same thing. Like, what is to even think about? Like, it makes the most sense. Javier and Penelope, the fucking sexiest relationship you'll ever have in your lives.
They're going to speak Spanish to you. Oh,
I'm not going to understand a word, but we'll just sit around in our library and read books.
I'll Duolingo. I'll learn the language.
Exactly.
Google Translate.
Yeah, just holding it up the whole time.
Babbel.com/my worst date.
Yeah.
Exactly, I do. You know what? I actually feel like they could teach us Spanish. So I'll do an immersive experience with Javier and Penelope. I'll be like, just deeply speak Spanish in the house.
Experience.
You know? Deeply, penetratively immersive.
Name of the episode: Deeply Immersive.
Deeply immersive.
Yes. And again, I'm gonna fuck Robert Pattison and Suki Waterhouse. I mean, like, doy, hot.
Yeah.
Super
It's
hot.
a no-brainer. Both are so sexy and have just that. They make so much sense to me together.
Me too.
I get it.
They really do.
I get that. Like, and I agree with Christina. There's like something about their, like, maybe their ages, maybe they have a maturity about them that feels like we're not going to get in bed and start laughing about what we're doing, which is kind of how I feel about like maybe Tom and Zendaya. Like, you're like, this is going to be fun. And then you're like, this is stupid. What are we doing? You know, like, you're like, I'm not going to be able to take that seriously, you know?
Yeah. No, they're just, to me, I think they look like babies to me. I'm cheering for them. Yeah.
Oh, I love, and do I want to be their friends? Yeah. Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't go wrong. I mean, all three of these couples, fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And to be a couple, like we were saying earlier, it's work. It's a hard thing.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. But you add on top of it the Hollywood factor too. Oh my goodness.
Right. Surrounded by the hottest people on the planet.
Yeah.
All
and then
the
you
time.
add us.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, how can
smoke shows?
How could they resist? As I'm sweating through my t-shirt that I bought in the boys section at Target. Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
That sounds good.
Yes. And we're back. All right, Christina.
Okay. I will kick it off because I have the Tainted Love, and I'm very, very excited to tell you guys that story later on. Okay. But for now, this person says, I was in my early 20s, and nowadays I would not have put up with any of the shit I did. He picked me up from my house. I walked out wearing heels, and he made me go back inside to put on flats because apparently I was taller than him.
Oh, God.
Nowadays, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with me.
I'll be like, ridiculous. Oh, yeah. I'll be right back out. Lock the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's when the date would be over for me, LOL, but I did it. We drive to the restaurant. It's a casual spot, kind of like a pub, but with fancier food. We sit down and order our drinks, and there's a table next to us of like 6 guys, all wearing jeans and camo or plaid. And my date starts loudly talking shit about how ugly their clothes are. And the guys keep looking over at us like, what the fuck? I told my date to stop because he was about to get a country boy beat down.
Well, I mean, for what reason are you doing that? Are you trying to impress me? Because it's not working.
Impressed.
Like, you're not impressing me by
putting
doing
down
that.
other people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also
being from, look, you cannot underestimate being from somewhere where country boys are prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'm like,
listen,
country boys in a group?
Yeah.
No.
You know why? You know why they make sidewalks? Because the motherfucking streets aren't for everybody. Okay, so keep your mouth shut.
Amen. Amen.
I said what I said, so don't just be careful. Exactly.
Yeah, be careful out here.
The waitress comes to take our order, and he orders for me, and it's something I don't want. So I say, "Oh no, thanks," and order something else. After the waitress left, he was literally red in the face, fuming, not saying anything, and just staring at me. I
have to ask the question, like, do you want someone ordering for you? I feel like this is like an old school rule that is supposed to be chivalrous or something.
I hate it.
I like what I like. Okay, and this is a first date and you don't know me well enough. Maybe if it's somebody who you've known for like a really long time that knows you very well, but like this is someone you don't even know. Like, why? I'm capable of picking out what I want.
Thank you.
Right now, tonight.
Exactly.
Thanks.
I mean, I'll take suggestions. You've been here before. You got something you like.
Right. Yeah, what's
You're
good
like,
here?
Oh, this is really good. That's plenty.
Exactly.
Say no more.
No, considering the fact that, especially now that I live like in the middle of nowhere, going to a restaurant is so fucking exciting to me. The way that if I know I'm going to a restaurant, I'm pulling the menu up on my phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm reading reviews. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm planning ahead. Like the meal is happening at 8 at noon. I'm like,
I know what
you know what you're having.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, as somebody who doesn't eat meat as well, that is a must.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I look at the menu before I go anywhere. And usually there's like only a handful of things to pick from. Mm-hmm. And I will have that thing selected before I step in the door.
You're going to love it here. So much vegan, vegetarian options.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So after the waitress left, he was literally red in the face. I'm awkwardly drinking my beer until he said, "Don't you ever do that to me again."
Well, I won't because
problem.
I'm leaving and I'm going home.
We're done.
So no problem.
Isn't that great if you're on a date with somebody and they chastise you? Do you like to be chastised?
Show me all of your fucking red flags right now. Like, I'd like to see them, put them all out on the table so that I'm not like blindsided down the road, because like that is a huge, huge red flag of somebody who is very controlling.
Yeah. Launches into a rant about how I embarrassed him in front of everyone.
Ow.
He was being so loud. Everyone was staring at us and I just wanted to melt
you're embarrassing
into my
yourself.
Yes.
You're embarrassing yourself.
The food comes and he asks for the check. I offered to pay my half because I didn't want to ever see him again. And I didn't want to give him a reason to feel like I owe him anything.
Oh, girl.
God, and this guy knows where you live. He picked you up at your house. We got to stop that.
Yep.
He goes off on me again about how I need to be trained to be a better woman.
I swear to God.
Okay. Like his watch history is all Andrew Tate. Just back-to-back videos.
And it's that and that date right stuff, dude. Just all of that.
Need to be taught.
Oh.
I got some lessons for you, motherfucker.
The worst. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, which is across the building and around a corner out of view. I was frantically texting everyone I knew, trying to get a ride home, and planned on leaving without him seeing. One of the boys from the table next to us followed me to the bathroom and knocked on the door asking if I was okay.
Yes, he knows what's up.
Bless up.
Clark Kent.
And they're married now.
I hope. Kent. I came out and spoke to him and he offered to drive me home, so I took it. I get in this guy's old beat up truck and he gives me a cigarette and takes me home and makes sure I got into my house before he took off. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, my phone starts blowing up and it's my date.
Block. Don't even need to read them.
Nope.
I guess he started losing his shit when he realized I was gone and found out I got a ride home from one of the guys he was insulting earlier. Accuses me of being a whore and sleeping with this guy. I blocked his number.
You can think whatever you want. Like, your
Free
opinion
country.
means absolutely nothing to me. So if you think whatever, that's fine.
Cool.
Great.
Keep it moving.
Love it. Then he shows up at my house.
There you go. Yeah. I feared.
Now he's banging on the front door so hard, I'm afraid it's going to come off its hinges.
I would freak out.
I lived with 3 male roommates at the time, but none of them were home. So I called the house group chat and begged for one of them to come home. Thankfully, my one roommate was just down the road and he came right home. He's like 6'4" and 300 pounds, so he scared my terrifying date away.
Good.
After that, he would randomly show up at our house, bang on the door, and try all the windows
This guy's
to
dangerous.
see if any of them were unlatched.
Very scary person. You know, and like gave you all the signs that he was a very scary person. And not only like a very scary person, but a very unaware, like he's not self-aware at all. You know, his behavior at the restaurant, like not understanding that being super loud and, you know, insulting other people super loudly and insulting you super loudly, like all of those things, that's a very, very scary person.
This is the reason why those Facebook groups where it's like, are we dating the same guy? Or, hey, everyone
avoid this person.
Yes, I think they're so important because
I agree.
You know, she ends up saying that like after around a month, he left her alone and she's thinking like, man, I hope that he's not out there doing this to another woman, you know?
Yeah.
He is. That's probably why he left you alone. Yeah. It's because he's transferred something to someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scary thing to say, but I would bet that people like that don't stop because again, they're not aware, like they're not self-aware enough to understand how fucked up their behavior is.
Girl.
Yeah. Like even the stuff out on the date was so egregious and over the top. You know what I mean? That like it doesn't surprise me that it escalated as much as it did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ugh, terrifying.
Whoa.
Again, I mean, we've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Meet at the location.
Anywhere else.
Don't have, if you've not met him before and you don't know him well, like don't have to come to your house.
Anywhere.
This is not like a victim shaming or anything. It's just good information to have.
Heads up.
Know, you live and you learn. We've all done it, you know? So just no more.
Exactly.
Meet there.
Meet there.
Meet there. All right. So this one is has a little bit of a warning. It says, if you wrote them off once, don't get stupid. So by dating standards, I'm old, 42, female. I know this. I had finished a personal break from the world after losing my mother and ending a 10-year relationship. I know online dating sucks, but I don't have the largest circle of friends, so I decided to try it again. See, now this is where somebody needs what you did, Keegan. The time left.
Gotta do. Yep, time left. Yep. Yeah.
You know what? Do like a little group thing. You know.
Yes.
Make some connections, meet some people, but maybe
take the pressure off of it being an actual date. And if you connect with somebody, you connect with them.
Great. And if not, oh well. Yeah.
And do another dinner. Like time left. Like you can do. It's every Wednesday.
That's
you pay
cool.
for a subscription. You can do as many as you want for as long as you have the subscription. So I haven't because I feel like I hit the jackpot the first time.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I'm going to play it out with my original dinner pals.
The OG crew, huh?
Yeah, the OG crew. So I put my subscription on hold, but I definitely am open to doing more of them.
They're like, shit, we shouldn't be that successful. Damn. Not an ad yet. That we know of.
Yeah.
One guy, 50, we'll call him Derek, messaged me. He seemed nice and down to earth. We texted, talked, but soon he messaged me and said he met someone else. I figured it was all good. Other fish in the sea and whatnot. Just not the right one. I had noticed some small red flags anyway. He just seemed a bit clingy and too eager for a reply text. Little things like that. Nothing major. The small ones were almost imperceptible. Just comments that just didn't sit well. About a month later, he texts me out of the blue, asking if he missed his chance. He also bemoaned the fact that he never makes the right choice with women, and love always misses his chance.
That's not information I needed.
No.
Okay?
I don't want it.
That's an overshare. You did not need to like provide me with that information. Okay? Like, and also it's such a turn off. Like when people get into that like woe is me pity party
it's the
kind of
awful
mode. Like that is so like it's not
so
attractive.
Unattractive.
You're not putting your best foot forward, dude. Save that for your friends. Go to the bar and have some beers and talk about your love life. But we don't know each other. Okay.
Not cute.
And also I feel like you're trying to emotionally manipulate me right now. So no.
Yeah.
No, but also like he did the right thing by being like, you know, a month ago saying like, hey, I've met somebody else, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, go with God and all of that. But
sure.
Then to circle back around a month later, it's like, dude, so
I picked the wrong one.
Right. It's a backup
choice.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No
that makes me feel great. Yeah.
Exactly. Right? Ugh.
I, being someone who says what they mean, I told him I was speaking with an old friend and that he and I were to meet up. I had given this friend my word that he would be, shall we say, given my full attention until we decided if we would try to make it a go or not. I kept my word. I was very forward and honest with Derek about this. Well, time passed, things came up, things happened, deaths unfortunately happened, and my friend and I never met and had put things on hold indefinitely. I hadn't really thought about Derek, so I didn't message him. My life was just messy at this point. Suddenly, Derek messaged me out of the blue, asking how I was. Thought maybe this was a sign. Maybe I should have been more proactive. And here he was. Why squander this chance? We texted back and forth. He gave me his new number. He got, quote, several months ago. Not sure how I could have texted without it, but no reason to sweat the details. About 24 hours in, he gets a bit irked that I wasn't texting back as soon as the message was delivered.
You are 50 years old. Grow up. You've hit half a century.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, we're not in high school. What? Like, stop.
We have
he kept asking
do shit. She's 42. She's got a job.
Right.
She's busy. She's got responsibilities. She's tired. She's probably sleeping. Leave her alone.
This 42-year-old, that's absolutely what's happening.
Yeah.
No, but also when things keep coming up, sometimes it's not a chance, it's a test.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
the universe is giving you a clear message.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like
he kept asking, am I bothering you? You haven't answered
You are now.
me.
You are now. Yes. You are bothering me now. You weren't.
Yeah.
No.
Ugh. These small offhand little red flags of of neediness, I saw them. They registered. But I thought maybe I was being overly sensitive. After all, text inflection can be misread. I let him know I was just simply very busy, but would reply as soon as I could do so. And I wasn't ignoring him or annoyed, etc. All seemed well.
Well, you don't have to lie. You were definitely annoyed, right?
Totally annoyed, right?
I am.
I'm annoyed. I'm
annoyed on your behalf.
Yeah. All seemed well, and we continued to speak through text. By about 45 hours, I was in for a shock. I had let him know that this day I had the 100th birthday party of a friend to attend. He messaged to see how I was while I was there. I took the time to answer and let him know that they were doing a full-on sit-down dinner, which I hadn't anticipated, and this would take me longer than I thought. But I would answer him as I could without being rude to those at the party, especially the baby girl, birthday girl. I was like, baby,
100-year-old baby.
Birthday girl, yes. He seemed cool with that. We text briefly here and there. I made it mention that the party was running late. It would mess up the schedule, and I had for my lawn mowing and yard work. He graciously and unexpectedly offered to come help me. I told him how much I appreciated that, but until I got out of church, hours being different in the summer, I wouldn't have a clue what time I would mow tomorrow, if at all. He didn't react well to this and said if I didn't have time for him, I just needed to tell him that.
Okay.
He's like, I'm 50. I need to know sooner rather than later.
Oh my God. He's like, TikTok, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, fair enough. Like, maybe they're just not compatible. Like, obviously, like, their communication styles and what they need from the relationship or even maybe want from the relationship are just different.
Right.
Like, there are plenty of people out there who feel the same way, who want to text back right away, you know, who like that is their love language. That's the way that they operate. Go find one of those people. Don't make me feel bad and guilty.
Right.
At all times. And like, you haven't even really dated.
Exactly.
Yet.
You haven't even gone on a date yet.
Yeah.
Not even at all.
No.
Yeah. I told him that I didn't understand where he was getting that from because it isn't at all what I had texted. He told me I had put too much detail in the message and made it sound like I was blowing him off. Okay. Full-sized red flag.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
You put too much detail in there. It sounds like you're blowing me off. Okay.
It's nonsensical.
Being too specific feels like a lie.
Yeah. Right. I said we had a miscommunication, but I wasn't being dismissive at all. I just didn't know when I would mow and couldn't expect to make him commit when he lives 90 minutes away without a schedule. I could guarantee. I said I would message him later or tomorrow, depending on the party ended, so I could give him and the text my full attention to avoid further miscommunication. See,
I
now
gotta be
already,
honest. I'm exhausted. Yeah, 100%. I'm too tired by the. You haven't even met yet. Move on. Like this is too much work. This is too much work for someone that you don't even really know and has given you a lot of red flags thus far. You know, no.
Yeah, exactly. Upon leaving the party in a rather good mood and actually thinking about tomorrow's schedule with Derek in mind, I find a text from him. He said that he had reread my last message and discovered I had set up a perfect way to blow him off. And because of this hidden message, I shouldn't fucking bother messaging him tomorrow.
Fine.
Great.
This is a very, very insecure person.
Oh
yeah.
Like this person is deeply, deeply insecure. I don't know what happened to you, Derek, in a past relationship where you can't like just be chill and be cool and trust the other person. Right. Like you are always looking out to be fucked over. But I mean, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but please get therapy. It's not my problem.
Yeah. I texted back by mistake that he was completely incorrect and I was as kind as I could be. But I told you, wasting.
There's no need.
Futile.
Yeah, no need.
Just block.
He said, we're done. We're good.
It's fine.
Like, I'll block you. We're fine.
But I told him this is a level of neediness is a huge red banner and that he can't attempt to gaslight women into believing his fear of rejection is their fault. But that 100. I wish him the best. He exploded. He even sent my message that he read his delusions into back to me. Like it proved his point.
I know what the fuck I said.
I know what I
Thank
said.
you, Derek.
I
know what
I
I said. Thanks.
Thank you.
Like I don't need you to point it back out. Like I didn't send the text.
I was here. He is more than just unstable. Don't ignore the red flags, even the little ones, because they can unfurl into impressive and drastic manner. Yes, I know how stupid I was not to practice my own vice. Live and learn.
No,
it's hard in the moment. It's easy to like give people advice, but it is hard in the moment. And like, especially women, like we don't want to be seen as being mean or rude or hurting anybody's feelings. And like, it can lead you to giving too many chances and apologizing more than you need to. So I get it, but kudos to her for finally saying the thing. It's just like, your fear of rejection is not my problem.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
that's
figure that out.
You keep
Something
that.
to work through. All right. This one's fairly short. I met this girl at a local dive and she seemed rad until she had 6 double Greyhounds.
Woof.
As somebody, that's 12 drinks, by the way. Like a double.
I just took a drink of my wine and almost spit it everywhere.
Oh my God. And a Greyhound
double.
was my drink for years, which is vodka and grapefruit juice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my drink for a long time. And I still like that drink. 6
because you
doubles?
don't do 6 doubles at a time.
Oof. In one sitting?
Dude.
That's insanity.
You're a
insanity.
warrior. a warrior at that point. It makes me think of like anytime I would go out with my brother and his husband in WeHo. And it's like
they finish a pitcher each mimosa.
No, like even they can only get to 3 West Hollywood drinks because those are like
triples. They're like 3 normal drinks. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And two WeHo drinks, and I'd be stumbling back up to my apartment.
Yeah. Yes. I know we've talked about it. Well, we've talked about it before, but yes, WeHo was the most. It wasn't the drunkest I've ever been, but it was the most surprise drunk. I've ever been because I was just like, literally, I was like, the math is not mathing. I only had 2 drinks. Why am I like feeling like this? It's because in WeHo, literally, it's 90% hard liquor and just like a 10% topper of whatever the mixer is supposed to be.
A mixer.
Yeah, they make the best vodka and drinks there because it's all vodka and
a splash, a little taste. Okay, she had 6 double Greyhounds. We were leaving and she could hardly stand. So I asked her how she was getting home. She says she's going to my house.
No.
I say no. This argument goes on for a few more minutes before I just say I'll drive her home. Keep in mind, I had told her I needed to be home at 12 a.m. because I worked the next day and it's already 1 a.m.
Oh, no.
That's the worst too. When you're just like, I just want to go home.
Shake someone?
I just want to go home.
When you're up
but you feel responsible.
On a work night, the worst.
Stress.
The worst.
Yes. As I'm driving, she's all over me and getting upset I'm not reciprocating while driving. Finally, get to the address she gave me, and it was not her place. She gives me... She's too drunk. She doesn't even know where home is. She gives
time for this shit.
No. Oh, no. I, like, literally... I'm
so annoyed at this point if I'm him.
Early 20s behavior. At my big old age, absolutely not. I'm irritated at this point. She gives me a new address, which is also not her place, but the middle of downtown. I can't boot this drunk girl out in this sketch area and feel good about it, which I get to. Like, now you're responsible for someone. Yep. They're too drunk to be able to handle themselves. You know what? I feel like I would take their phone and call somebody. Be like,
honestly.
Come get your girl.
Get mom. Your girl.
In the contact list, just
mom
everywhere.
Right. 100. The third time's a charm. We get to her apartment complex. She won't get out of the car unless I agree to go upstairs with her. I lean in for a kiss, then unbuckled her seatbelt, opened the door, and pushed her out. Yay! She texted me the next day and said, "Thanks for not judging me last night. LOL." I judged you.
Is that what you got from that?
I'm judging.
Now, listen, this story, because I got to the end, and look, we have all been in a situation where like you feel responsible for someone who's drunk, and I don't love the idea. Even that, like, I don't really love the idea of just like pushing someone out of your car and being like, bye, figure it out from the parking lot. Like, there's part of me that was, and the initial thought was like, oh, I wish he had like made sure she'd gotten inside. But if the genders were reversed, I absolutely would advocate for just by any means necessary getting this drunk guy who was trying to sexually assault you out of your car and taking off. So I can't really blame him.
You know? No. Yeah. I don't have any blame there either. It's just like, oh my goodness.
Guys, you gotta know your limits. You gotta know your limits. There is nothing more cringe to me now at this point in my life than like, you know, I'm barely drinking at this moment anyway, but like there is nothing more cringe to me than remembering your behavior the night before when you were way, 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 way too wasted. Like that is, I hate even thinking about that. Awful.
Yeah, I can't go back to a steakhouse in Hawaii. So,
yeah. You know what though? You were on your honeymoon, so I feel like you got to give a pass. You know, you're on your honeymoon.
Mai Tais like are strong. You don't think they are,
and they sneak up on you.
Yeah,
because they taste like juice. Yeah. That's where you get in trouble.
Delicious Hawaiian pineapple juice. So good. Dark rum floater on the top. Extra.
Oh, man. I mean, that does sound... God. Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Did you try the steak? How was it?
I don't know. I think so. It was good.
I gotta know better. Come on.
I'm like, we can't go back there. Great.
It's not their first time. It's not their first rodeo. I'm sure they've seen
many
some shit, the people working there. They're hardened veterans. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't even crack their top 10.
Here's hoping. I don't think so.
People who work in tourist places that are heavy with tourists. I want to compare the stories of like a server who works in Times Square, a server who works on the Strip.
Yeah,
and like South Beach, Miami.
Yes. Oh my God, get those people in a room. Swap war stories.
Truly, and cocaine.
In the bathroom.
Give them on cocaine, give them on microphones.
Yes.
See where this goes.
I mean, trademarked. You heard it here first. It's coming onto the My Worst Date podcast network. You guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds good.
Cool.
And we're back. Christina, tell us your Tainted Love.
I cannot believe we haven't done this one. I know why I haven't done this one, and maybe it's the same for you guys in that, this was a case that MFM covered back all the way in the Wayback Machine, episode 137.
Wow.
Titled Gloogle. It has been covered in a shit ton of other places. I think there's a Netflix documentary about it. There's a recent Blumhouse series on, I want to say Max, I think, called like The Real Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh my God. That was on my list of shows to watch. I haven't started it yet.
So this is the first episode from this.
Oh my God. Oh, it's coming back to me though. I think I know. Yes. Okay. I think I know the creepiest part. This is great for our first episode in October because
I know, and I can't believe we haven't done it. But I'm going to tell you guys the story of I'll just set the mood.
Okay.
It's fall 1986 in a town called
the air is crispy.
Pepperell, Massachusetts. So the leaves are turning. It's
beautiful.
About 50 miles away from Boston, kind of near the New Hampshire border. Okay. Now, the Bowen family is having a rough year. It's Frank and his 3 daughters have lost their mother and their wife to cancer earlier that year. So Frank is hardworking. He's a single father trying to keep it all together. His oldest daughter's like 15. His middle daughter's 9. One of the other challenges about this story is that there's a lot of details that are changed, or so much is been, I think it's become like an urban legend at this point. So there's a lot that say they're the Andrews family. So you can search this this case up under the Andrews family haunting. But their name's Bowen. And so Frank, Tina, and Karen, they don't mention the 3rd daughter's name. I don't know if it's because she's so young or whatever, but it's mainly deals with the 2 daughters. Anyways, all that to say, they're struggling. It's becoming fall. It's spooky season. They miss their mom. They're latchkey kids at the time because their dad has to work. So they're home like by themselves often.
Sounds like the 80s.
And so they decide to heartbreakingly do a seance so they can try to talk to their mom. So they're up doing this seance and everything like that. They don't figure it works. They don't hear anything or whatever. They like go to bed. But then weird things start happening around their house. Like things are moved. There's like knocking sounds on the wall. And they keep trying to tell their dad. And their dad's like, girls, like, I'm worried about you. You know, it's
right. And this man is probably overwhelmed. He lost his wife. He's got these kids. He's like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for nonsense. You know,
exactly.
I can see the movie. In my head already.
So things like this continue for like weeks, and weeks turn into months where like the girls are tormented by like knocking sounds. Well, one night they're home alone and they hear these like insanely loud knocking sounds.
Dad doesn't hear the knocking?
Dad's at work. They're home alone.
Right. But like, is he always gone when the knocking is taking place, I guess?
I guess that wasn't a detail that was in the thing, but it seems like, most of the stuff is happening when the dad is gone. So they had like this, they were making like food or going to try to watch a movie, and then they noticed that the food had moved and they got freaked out. And then they found a message in red on the wall that says, "I'm in your room, come find me."
Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. No.
Nope. So they run out of their house screaming, go to the neighbors. The neighbor calls their dad, who's at work, who leaves work early, comes home, and is like, listen, I'm sorry, like, you know, calls the cops. He's like, the cops come. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like, my daughters are just like really emotional right now because they lost their mother, et cetera, et cetera. Like, the cop's like, no problem, man. I get it. Like, good luck. And then he puts the girls in therapy, which is great. Like, therapy is
for the 80s dad. For 80s dad,
that's great.
Pretty good move, actually.
Yeah. So weeks go by, and like the knocking is still persisting, and it's getting like more and more intense. Things are being moved, like things are missing. It's just really like the girls are really on edge. They're really creeped out. And then another night, they hear like knocking, but this time it's coming from down in the basement. They hear a bunch of loud noises.
I'm not going down there. I'm not going down there.
Tina grabs a knife and is like, goes down to try to check it out and finds another message written. So freaks out again, runs to the next door neighbor. This time they're so distraught, they're so scared that the neighbor's like, okay, I'm calling the police and I'm calling your dad. Like, legit. Frank comes home, notices that the girls are so like shaken, like in a way that feels serious. And then he walks in the door and the house is like, things are just trashed.
In disarray.
In total disarray.
Whoa.
So he's like, okay, something's going on. The TVs are all on in the house. There's a knife in a family picture with a message written in red.
We are moving. We're moving right now.
He's like terrified until he turns and looks, and he sees somebody standing there in his wife's wedding dress and a blonde wig with warrior paint on their face holding a hatchet.
Fuck you. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Now, in others, there's 3 variations of that. I chose to tell the scariest one, the wedding dress, wig, and makeup. The second variation is that he's wearing like a Native American jacket, warrior paint with the hatchet. And the third one is that he's wearing the Native American jacket and a ninja mask and a hatchet.
I
don't like any of them.
What?
Yeah. So he's like, fuck this, and like runs out, and the cops come in, and they're like looking for this person, they're scouring the house. They can't find anything. Meanwhile, like Frank and the girls are like, deuces, bye house. Like, we're not going back in there.
100%, as you should. Anytime you watch a haunted house, you know, scary movie, you're like, listen, I know that like finances are hard and shit, but like one too many things, you gotta just get the fuck out.
Nah.
Even if it's just like for a while, like you gotta go stay with friends, go stay with family.
Money doesn't matter when it's the devil. It does when it's the fucking literal devil. Yeah, you're fucking out of there.
Listen, I know the housing market is tough right now. Okay, I get it. You just spent in Los Angeles, you just spent $1.5 million on a house. I get that it's hard.
You win some, you lose some. Exactly. There's some.
I still think you can make a profit on it, though, if I'm honest.
Exactly.
You can't disclose. Just don't disclose that. That is haunted.
How will they know?
How will they know?
They're never going to know.
So cops can't find anything except for like, you know, the knives in the picture, messages. There's a message written in red on Tina's wall that says, "Marry me." And so they're like, they can't find anything.
Absolutely fucking not. Oh my God. These, you know, I'm glad these girls are already in therapy because can you imagine the amount of therapy you need as an adult? Imagine trying to explain to your therapist once you're grown.
Okay.
Like, and they're like, well, where do you think the root of your issues come from? And you have to break down this story to your therapist. Golly.
Oh my God. Well,
I know I'm so grateful that therapists, as someone who has a therapist, I'm so grateful that they're not allowed to talk about what goes on in therapy. Right. But I know they have some fucking stories to tell.
Well, that's why therapists have therapists, man. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, you have to.
Yes.
You would.
They have heard some stuff.
So they finally, like hours and hours later, because they're just like, there's no way he could have gotten out. We were around the house. Like no one came out of this house. Hours later, they find in the basement this weird way to like crawl in and like no more than 6 to 8 inch crawl space where someone could literally like just traverse the walls of the entire house. And they find evidence that somebody had been living there for months. And that's where they find Daniel LaPlante.
Isn't this called frogging?
Yes.
And like and it's more common than you would think, not to scare everybody. But like I told the story in the beginning of this podcast about someone who lived in the walls. Yeah, I'm so sorry to tell you. But it happens.
Mm-hmm. Good thing I live in a fucking concrete bunker pretty much.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, my walls are too thin. I would know if somebody was living in them. There's no one living in my walls. I know that. But like,
and they'd be so thin. They'd be like,
I actually freaked myself out because I was driving up to our house the other day and I looked and there's like kind of like a top like window or whatever. And I was like, do we have an attic in our house? And I was like, and how do we get
secret
in attic?
Terrifying.
Yeah. So I might have to make Eric try to find our attic today to make sure that we don't have any frogging.
You be careful out there. I don't want to get a text from you later talking
the
about
hills have eyes, okay?
You live in the mountains. Yeah. Anything could be up there.
Okay? Truly. Oh my God, what a nightmare. So anyway, like who is this kid? He's like 15 years old and he's had a really, really tragic upbringing. So he has been verbally, emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by his family members, but primarily his father. And was doing very poorly in school, had a learning disability. So they sent him to like a psychiatrist because he was showing troubling antisocial behavior. The kids didn't like him. He had no friends. Well, then the psychiatrist started abusing him as well.
Stop.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, what a violation. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
So he was broken. He's just a broken kid. And one of the things that he liked to do as a hobby was to break into local houses and just like move things around to fuck with people. It was like his favorite thing, his hobby. So in one of his break-ins, they theorized that he found Tina, the teenage daughter's number, and he had called her up. And he talked to her and said, like, hey, I go to a different school than you. Like, I got your number from a friend, and like, I'm a blonde, like, athletic dude or whatever, and convinced her.
Pre-internet, or not even pre-internet, but like I feel like this is something that I did in middle school, or, you know, could have happened in middle school,
Yeah.
you know, where people would call. No, like, it's really, like, I feel like,
yeah, or the frogging part. I was like,
no, just
what?
like the somebody,
Yes.
I would, if I was Tina, I think I would believe it. Yeah, I would fall for this. I really do think I would, because and I think I did fall for similar things, like early internet versions of this exact same thing. You know, I'm from a different school.
Rupert Grint.
That's been covered. Okay, I don't think we need to bring it up again.
One of my favorite stories of all time. So, like, he had called her. They had been talking on the phone for a while and finally agreed to go on a date. And when he showed up, I mean, he is not a tall, blonde, athletic dude. He is a very awkward, dark-haired, dealing with acne, not a very clean person, had hygiene problems. Tina went out with him anyways. It was very awkward. They didn't really talk that much until she brought up her mom's passing, and then he just lit up, asking her all kinds of questions. How did your mom die? How did it make you feel? Like, do you still think about you? Like, all this stuff. And she was so sketched out by that. That's when she finally, like, left. So they only hung out for like an hour.
How old is she?
15.
15. Okay.
So same age. And so after that, he broke into their house, ended up finding this secret crawl space, and then lived there for months, tormenting the girls to make them think that their mom was still
alive. That's awful.
That's so fucked up.
Oh, that's so awful. So it's just like a hurt people situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to charge you. Bail is $10,000. His mother remortgages their house and gets him out of jail. So as he's awaiting trial, it's December of 1987. He's still out. He's still doing his break-in stuff. So he's breaking into a bunch of different houses and doing his, like, moving things around routine. He breaks into the home of the Gustafsons. They're a young family. It's, a pregnant nursery school teacher named Priscilla, and she's married to Andrew, and she has two beautiful kids, 7-year-old Abigail and 5-year-old William. So she comes home after picking William, the younger one, up from daycare or whatever, and is confronted by Daniel being in their house, and he has a gun. So he had stolen the gun from another house, from a break-in. So gets them upstairs, ties Priscilla up, proceeds to, I don't need to go into details, but he kills Priscilla and kills William. Meanwhile,
Jesus,
poor little Abigail comes home and he kills her too.
Oh, it's horrible.
And
That's
then,
a huge escalation. That's a huge escalation.
Yeah. And it's just like, the details are horrifying. So then the dad comes home from work and is like, that's very strange that, like, the lights are off in my house and it looks like dark and quiet. And, it's like December in Massachusetts. So everything's like,
it's eerie. Yeah.
Snow, just trees with no leaves, bleakness. And so he goes up into the house, goes into the bedroom, finds his wife, terrifying, and then just, like, freaks out. He freaks out, runs outside, and calls the cops. And he tells cops, which is heartbreaking, he's like, I didn't want to search for my kids because I couldn't handle finding them.
Right. Oh, I can't blame him.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. So police are like, this seems like that fucking weird kid.
Yeah. Oh.
No, they immediately are like, it's that fucking kid. It's that fucking kid that's out. Huh. They're just immediately like, no other suspects. They're able to find, and the reason why they do a search of the area, they find wet shirt and wet gloves.
Got it.
Because of bathtubs, and I'll leave it at that. They bring the dogs, they sniff it, and the dogs immediately run to Daniel's house. So they're like, zip, zap, zop.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah.
Well, he is on the run. He is in the woodses somewhere in December in Massachusetts. 48 hours later, they find him like in a dumpster. He's been like breaking into houses on the run. Like, how terrifying must that be?
He's just berserking at that point.
In that community with him on the loose. So terrifying.
And he's unwell, clearly.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He's 17 at this point, but they do try him as an adult and give him like life in prison. He's since appealed that because technically he was a juvenile and the laws have changed since then. And you can't give juveniles life without parole at this point. So he was resentenced to 45 years. He would be eligible for parole, but there's no way they're going to let him out. God. Willing, because he's never expressed remorse for it. He did.
Right. I mean, I guess that would be my question, because he was obviously super, super damaged, and you would hope that with the right amount of care and therapy that like he could be rehabilitated, you know, but if he's not displaying any remorse, he can't. He
didn't for years and years and years. He did for the first time when they were going to resentence him. So it feels convenient.
Spish. Yeah.
You know? But yeah, since and Andrew did end up remarrying and then passed a few years ago. And his wife.
How do you ever get over that? I mean, you don't.
Never.
You don't.
Yeah.
You never get over it. That would be so horrible.
His wife said he never did. But this is like the one thing that like, at least if he's in prison for the rest of his life, like that is something that we could do for Andrew. But that is the terrifying tale of the boy in the walls, Daniel LaPlante.
Whoa. Woof.
You know, that first family, as terrifying as that experience was, how lucky that it didn't escalate while he was living there, you know, because clearly he had a grudge or held some kind of contempt for Tina that he was taking out on the whole family. And he was capable of something so
heinous.
Yeah, that's really, oof, that is rough.
Yeah. So welcome to spooky season. Oof. And check your attics, crawl spaces, and basements for Froggy.
Girl, yeah. Take your own advice. Do that today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Christina.
Yes. Report back. Have you heard any weird noises at all?
We have
I feel like your dogs would fucking lose it.
Oh, no. Yeah, we have 4 dogs.
Oh, 100%. You have a built-in security system for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and this is actually, you know how when you go into a place, like you can feel vibes, or there'll be places inside the house or apartment or whatever, you'd be like, I
don't want to go there.
I don't, I have no negative vibes here. It really doesn't feel like negative stuff has happened here. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with that.
We have all positive vibes in our new space, and I've not seen a ghost cat until we got here, though. So we have another ghost cat. We had a ghost cat in LA, and we have a ghost cat here. So I don't think
you need to explain that a little bit.
I'll see a cat, like a cat, come through the house, like, and then I'll look over and Chuck will be like sleeping. Dead ass.
Weird.
Chris has experienced it too. Like when we lived in LA, like
weird.
Just out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's just the cat. And then I'm like, no, it's not the fucking cat. The cat's right there.
If people have ghosts, then cats have ghosts too, for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
And listen, of the ghosts that I want a ghost cat.
Oh, a ghost cat's not fucking with anything. You know, like they're like occasionally knocking shit off of the shelf. Like that's it.
But they should. I mean, come on.
Well, what are you guys watching this week?
I'm not watching. You know what? Actually, that's not true. I'm watching. Okay, because Dancing with the Stars is back, and I was like curious about it. I'm like, Anna Delvey's on there. Phaedra is on there. I was like, I'm gonna watch and see. And Ilona, the rugby player.
Oh,
she's on there.
Yeah.
I love her. I think I pronounced her name wrong, but regardless. So I was like, I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars in a long time. I'm going to watch. And so I watched the first episode of that. And then I was like, you know what? I actually want to go back and watch the season that Ariana Madix was on.
Yeah.
So I've just been binging old episodes of Dancing with the Stars.
Amazing.
And it's just like something kind of mindless. If you like ballroom dance, which I have always loved ballroom dance. I grew up watching, like, Strictly Ballroom was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Like, I love, I think it's so, like, beautiful. So if you enjoy that kind of thing and you get to know you quote unquote get to know these celebrities, and like that's kind of fun to watch their journey. So that's all I've been doing. Just watching old episodes.
I was more So You Think You Can Dance. I like that show.
I love that show too.
I love that show.
I love a dance show, period.
Yeah,
I like watching people dance.
Strictly ballroom, as it were. But I like a mix. I like a mix of dancing.
Yeah, it's ballroom and Latin dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Partner dancing. Yeah. So I watched The Fall Guy last night.
Oh yeah, with Ryan Gosling.
It's good. It's
nice.
It's really good.
Very silly.
It's very silly. Very
I like
funny.
him in his comedic era.
Yeah.
I really do like that, and I think he likes it too. I think he's having fun.
It feels like it was probably fun, and honestly, it's real. I thought it was really cute. I bought the the little bit of a connection between the two main characters. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's
nice.
Well, I entered the spooky season by watching the real, Nightmare on Elm Street. Blumhouse has another collection called Cabin in the Woods.
Ooh.
So there's two.
Is it just like a bunch of different?
It's episode. Each episode is a different true crime having to do with either.
I am watching that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm watching that.
Man, Blumhouse is really doing it, man.
Yeah.
On my ex
worst ex ever.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That was insane.
That was terrifying. That was truly terrifying. I'm like, we do Tainted Love. We have 6+ years of Tainted Loves.
Yeah.
Where these stories were bananas.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think because here's the reason why. I think they don't get as much coverage because they don't yes, they're crimes, but they're not like murders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, unless you're like paying attention to local news, you may not get those kinds of stories.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the first episode surprised me that I'd never heard of, because I'm like, they did a whole manhunt, but like you said, it all took place mostly in Oregon. And it's just like, I guess if you're not local, maybe you wouldn't, it's not making national news.
Right. Oh, man. Well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you just want to reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.